Alligator Records.
I've got to get warmed up for this. When I started the label, I was living with a young woman who called me Little Alligator as a nickname because when I listen to music in the car, I'll play along playing drum parts by clicking my teeth together. And that reminded her of an alligator. I play complete shuffles like. And when I have a good day, I can play a full octave on my teeth from very low notes to very high ones.
Hello, everybody. Are you ready for the blues this evening? When we go out, have a lot of fun. Stick with me, baby, till the evening comes. That's why you might enjoy. I'll never let you go. Hey, hey.
Alligator Records. Is it regarding a tape you sent in? Well, we don't take calls about A&R. There's not really a department. You could... Okay, your name, please? One moment. Bruce? This is Sunshine with Fiasco Records. And she's calling regarding a band called Cobalt Blue.
What about him?
Does it ring a bell? Have you been... she's under the impression that you're talking about signing them.
I've never heard of them.
Okay, one moment. Thanks. Sunshine?
I began coming down to Chicago on the weekends from my college and hanging out on the south side in Teresa's and Pepper's Lounge and on the west side, hearing wonderful bands with 20 or 30 or 40, 50 people in the club. Bob Kester from Delmark Records became my mentor, and he let me sleep on his floor when I'd come down for the weekends. And by the time I finished college in 1970, I knew I had to be on the scene. And I didn't have a job, but I had this desire to be here and to hang out. And I loaded everything I had in my car and came down and showed up at Bob's record store and said, I've come to Chicago to be here with the blues.
My name is Dick Sherman. I'm a magazine writer, former DJ, Blues Festival committee member, producer, blues jack of all trades. I came to Chicago in the fall of '68, and a year and a half after that, I was making the club rounds with a couple veteran bluesman friends of mine. We were debating whether Junior Wells had played harmonica on one of Muddy Waters' songs. When we got to Pepper's Lounge, there was Junior sitting at a table with a young curly-haired guy who I had never met before, and introductions were made all around. That was Bruce. He and I fell into the same sort of social set that was loosely organized around Jazz Record Mart and Living Blues magazine.
I'm Bob Kester. I operate Delmark Records and also have the Jazz Record Mart, a specialty store for jazz and blues records. Bruce Iglar came to work for me. First we knew him as one of the many college DJs. He had a blues show at Lawrence College, and he came into the store a few times, and he told me, I want to come to Chicago, and he's very forthright. I want to start a blues magazine. I want to eventually start a blues label, and I want to learn from you. And he did, all three.
Bob Kester was a father figure to the whole generation of blues producers, entrepreneurs, journalists who grew up in the late 60s and 70s. There were about a dozen of us who hung out at the Jazz Record Mart, and from that came Living Blues Magazine, Alligator Records, Rooster Blues Records, Earwig Records, Flying Fish Records, to a certain extent, Testament Records. Fans, the Ann Arbor Blues Festival was born in Bob Kester's stockroom with an idea from one of his employees. It was a hub for the entire blues scene in Chicago. Without Bob, I can't imagine that Alligator ever would have existed, or that dozens of artists would have gotten the recognition that they deserved. He's sadly kind of a forgotten figure, and it's a shame because he's crucial in the popularity of blues really in the world.
Are you ready for some blues? So many days since you went away, yeah, yeah, yeah. think of you, my sweet darling, each night and day. Oh, but someday, my sweet darling, you ain't gonna worry. You ain't gonna worry Katie's life anymore. You're spending my money and you're chasing every woman in town. Listen, man, if you know you didn't want my loving, why in the hell didn't you stop and put my dollars down? Because that's the main thing. That's the main thing, my sweet daddy. That can get you and that other woman a lifetime home in the ground. You even told my best girlfriend, you said, I don't want Katie hanging around, but that's a lie. 'Cause every time I turn my back, you're trying to sneak back into my back door. And if you don't stop jiving, acting a fool, and trying to be so high class, somebody's gonna shoot you right dead in your I can't understand it, baby, why you don't just pack your bags and walk out that door. Can't you see I don't need you? I sure don't want you no more. I told you and I warned you, and now I'm for real. This here pussycat, this here pussycat, this here pussycat, ain't gonna be your, ain't gonna be your, it ain't gonna be your pussycat no more. No, no, no.
Bob was nice enough to offer me a job as his shipping clerk at $30 a week for 20 hours. My first week was 60 hours, and I was working both in his basement, packing Delmark Records. You know, it was one of the leading blues labels at that time, and also working in the store.
He learned, I'd say he learned very well. He learned all about my mistakes, too, and he learned not to make them.
I was hanging out in a club on the south side called Florence's Lounge every Sunday afternoon. It's where Hound Dog Taylor played. And it was just a little local neighborhood bar. They didn't even have a bandstand. They just move a couple tables and the band would move in, and they'd plug their microphones right into the guitar amplifiers, didn't have a PA system. And I fell in love with this band. I tried to convince Bob at Delmark to record them, but I couldn't talk him into it, and I got angry. Basically, I started Alligator to prove to him and to prove to the world that this band had to be recorded.
I record blues singers who play instruments, or maybe not. I mean, a lot of the guys we're going to record in the next few months don't play instruments, as a matter of fact. And he records musicians who sing, and it's a subtle difference there.
There was just the one of me. I was working out of a one-room apartment and still working at Delmark during the day. But he gave me a 3-week leave of absence, and I took my first 1,000 records and put them in the back of my car and started driving from radio station to radio station, visiting progressive rock stations, which was a new kind of radio at that time, and handing each DJ his own copy of the record and saying, "This is the band that I love. I made this record myself, and would you please play them?" When I started Alligator, I had a vision of trying to reach people like myself, 60s college kids who had gotten turned on to blues either through folk music or through the English blues rock bands like the Stones or the American version, the Paul Butterfield Band. And those people weren't being reached by the blues labels that were around at that time. I wanted to reach outside the hardcore blues market and turn on new people like I had been turned on.
What do you guys want to play? Blues. What? Blues. What? Blues. What? Blues. guitar right here. That's all right. Hurt my feelings. I can take it. That sounds good.
For 3 years, Alligator was in my one-room apartment, and then we moved into this house, and I ended up not having to sleep in the same room with 1,000 albums. But by the time we moved out, we had a copier in the dining room, 7,000 cassettes in the kitchen. The first year, I sold 9,000 Hound Dog Taylor records, and my competitors considered it a remarkable success. For that first 8 or 9 years, I could only release one record a year. It was all I could afford. But by 1991, I was releasing 12, 14 records a year, and we went from something like $10,000 in income the first year to $4 million last year.
Bruce is the kind of guy I always knew he would have a good lawyer, a good accountant, a good bookkeeper, and basically have the fundamentals mastered. He was doing this out of love as much as everybody else, but he thought that love meant trying to help the artist by putting together some all-around support and actually selling the record and assisting their careers. A lot of other people stopped at the recording, and everything after that was painful.
Alligator is a full-service record company. We not only produce the records, package the records, and manufacture the records, but we also publicize the artists. We do the radio promotion. We do the marketing to the stores. We manage a number of the artists. We do the overseas booking. We do the overseas licensing. We handle a lot of the financial end of the business. We really do everything that you can do in the record business because our artists need all these services. Very often they have no background for taking care of business for themselves. And if they're going to succeed, and we're going to succeed, we need to do all these things for them. So after 10 years in my house, we moved into this gorgeous high-rise office building.
And then we had an interesting thing on a really old record, Lonnie Brooks. A club jock in Greenwood, Mississippi got a hold of the record, played it, and at WKXE in Greenwood, that was on March 21st, the #1 request. So I gave Chris a list of the...
Which cut?
Wife for Tonight. Yeah. So I gave Chris the list, the one store that everybody was trying to get
Emily's
to.
Gifts
Emily's
and
Gifts and Music. Yeah. And we'll see what happens.
How many of you guys need a wife for the night? Let's hold on, I'll get you one. That string bikini of the sun is making me hot. Whatever it takes to cool me with, baby, ain't gonna take a hell of a lot. 'Cause I feel the need for some down home love tonight. Into my bedroom so you can play the bride while I play the groove. I feel the need for some down home love tonight. If you'd only pretend you can be my wife. can come on over. There'll be no strings attached. But if you like what I'm doing to you, babe, you can always come by. I feel the need for some down home love tonight. Anybody feel like that? Oh, I can make believe I'm your husband. If you'd only pretend you can be my wife tonight. I need one.
And here, just a few steps down the alley, we have our warehouse full of lifetime supply of Alligator CDs and cassettes. This is where we keep the loose CDs. About 70% of the business is compact disc now, but we still try to stick with having vinyl and cassettes on just about everything. Eric here runs our mail order business, and that's becoming more and more important for us, especially as it's harder for us to get some of the older product into the stores. Back over here is the wide world of promotional t-shirts. They make great wearing for Alligator executives as well as normal people. We sell a bunch of them through the mail order. And down here, I think Bill is putting together a foreign shipment. Bill? Is this the one from Hong Kong?
Was that Silk Road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it get out today?
Yeah.
Great. And Rick is probably sending out promo copies, most likely. Our big pastime. These are the way they come in off the truck. Box lots, no fun to unload. And then back over there, we got vinyl, because a lot of our customers still want the old vinyl LPs. This is Louisa. She used to live on the 3rd floor of the Alligator building, and when I had to take over with the business, I threw her and her husband out, and she refused to leave, so I gave her a job. She still claims not to speak English, but don't believe it. Alligator's a true independent record company. It's not part of any gigantic multinational corporation. It's my property. I own it. I get to make the musical decisions, I get to make the business decisions, and I get to live with whatever mistakes I make. This is the beginning of an $80,000 return from one of our distributors. One of the joys of this business is if a record doesn't sell, an independent record label gets to take it back for full credit. The independent labels are the poor boys of the record industry. We're the last bought by the record stores. We're the last paid. It's the price you got to pay for controlling your own destiny.
Koko Taylor, my good friend, I'm glad to see you, 'cause I'm broke again.
Lonnie Brooks,
Yeah.
I know what's on your mind. Not today, baby. Maybe some other time. I went out with Mr. Universe and I showed for the Rolls Royce. I drew this short straw. I didn't have no choice. Billy D. Williams called me, tell him I'm not at home. Easy come, easy go. Just wanna be left alone.
escort service. Taking out rich old ladies is really alright. But I'm on the menu again tonight. I've been it all. I guess I have to choose. 'Cause it's so dirty job, baby. Somebody got to do it. This pretty face of mine has always been a curse. But lately, baby, things get worse and worse. Women's coming up and let's go out and dance. But all they wanna do is get in my pants. Hey, yo, one night on, I think I spent alone. Just be cool, disconnect the phone. Lay back in my easy chair, turn on the TV. When a man come on, say you won the lottery. I was trying to be cool, but I guess I blew it. 'Cause it's a dirty job, baby. Somebody got to do it. Dirty job. It's a dirty job. It's a dirty job. I wanna do it. Somebody got to do it. Won't you let me do it? Come on, Lonnie Brooks. Oh yeah. Just get to it. It's a dirty job. It's a dirty job. I wanna do it. It's a dirty job. Let me do it. Hey, Koko Taylor. Come on, let's do it. Koko Taylor. Lonnie Brooks. Koko Taylor. Lonnie Brooks. Koko Taylor. I know you can do it. Koko Taylor. And you love to do it. I know you can do it. Hey, come on, let's do it. Oh yeah! Koko Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. And Mr. Lonnie Brooks. All up in here.
When is Ed's record coming out?
Well, now the tour's over, I'm going to go back and start mixing next week, and I'm hoping within 10 days to have the mixes done. But then, of course, we're going to run into the usual title and package problem. Ed would like to call the album "What You See Is What You Get," which is the name of one of the songs, but I don't know how that leads to titles or image. What does anybody else think?
What about I'm a Nut? Is it another song title? Yeah.
The thing about this record is that hopefully he'll be touring on it, where Chicken,
Yeah.
he only toured for like 2 months. And if he had toured, I think there was so much momentum going on him.
Well, the 20th anniversary tour did great things for him. He got across real well every
Yeah.
night, especially
Everybody
Boston.
I talked to.
It was an incredible show in Boston. He slayed everyone.
What you see is what you get is cool because
I think it's really...
it's just what you see is what you get with that. I mean, what's right there. It's
The only
just
the only unfortunate
It is
thing
long.
is putting all those words in a 4 3/4 square format, the CD format,
Yeah, I know. We still keep thinking of the damn 12 by 12s.
and the cassette format, which this type's gonna be like.
But what are we trying to say with this record?
Can we hear tapes?
Well, as soon as I get some mixes done, yeah, like in a week. Sure.
to carry on with the
So we're
theme. I
talking
think
like July
kind of
1st almost.
a little bit lighthearted, accent the lightheartedness of it. I mean, Ed's about having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Imperials are, I think.
One of the reasons I love Little Ed's music so much is it reminds me of Hound Dog Taylor and even of Mississippi Fred McDowell. I love slide players. Ed's completely unpredictable. He doesn't even know what song he's going to play when he gets on the bandstand, and the music changes every night. We're very close personally. It's almost like a father-son relationship.
They say that the younger black people aren't interested in blues. You're younger, you're black. What made you interested in blues instead of in rap or rock and roll or funk?
Well, blues has got a lot more of a feeling, and it's the way you live it. I live the blues, so that's why I've come up around it. I worked at the car wash 10 years, and I worked by day and played blues by night. After I got into traveling, and when I got into the studio and we cut the album, it was a wonderful thing. And then I realized I was going to be a professional musician.
Okay, guys, let's fire this sucker up just like what the band said. Ed's Boogie, take one. That was the 99. Now I want to hear that 100.
When he's working on a project, he'll do everything he can that he thinks will help make it better. If it means bringing in a keyboard player from across the country or doing another mix or anything like that that will make a difference in the music.
Because I started hearing blues in clubs, in little places with hard walls and bangy sounds, I try to capture a live feel on all of the records that I produce. Sometimes we do it in the most obvious possible way. We bring in all the musicians and we perform everything live at once. Sometimes we manufacture that a little bit using modern recording techniques, especially if the musician wants to sing the song over or play the solo over. But I do everything I can to create a club atmosphere in the studio where everyone's around seeing each other and hearing each other, where the amps are turned up loud, where everybody's playing hard, and I try to make it almost like a little party. Anything I can do to lose the clinical feel of a studio and make it more like a live gig.
Come on, now fire this up. Ed's Boogie, take two, go! 1, 2, 3. Guys, let's take a listen.
There are really two audiences for blues. There's the audience that I reach, which is a primarily white audience, and which is an audience that tends to read about music and listen to public radio and college radio and specialized radio shows. But there's also a very large black audience for the blues, which is a blue-collar, working-class audience, which finds out about blues records from black-oriented radio. It's been a big frustration for me that Alligator hasn't done a better job getting heard on black-oriented radio. And one of the things we're doing right now is working very hard to make our presence felt on that kind of radio.
Katie list is frozen. We had the disastrous last 2 weeks where I had more drops than I ever had.
Well, it's getting to be an old record.
Yeah, and that's the report I'm getting from the programmers. It had its course, it did very well. I hope it can translate into retail, but for whatever reason, we'll see.
Well, it's the best black radio record we've had since you started working it. So. Yeah. Katie Webster is a unique entity. She is indeed the two-fisted mama. She's one of the hardest artists I have to deal with, and I love producing her records because we give each other such a hard time in the studio, and then we come out with such great results. She is not a great female blues piano player. She's a great blues piano player, period.
I made a combination of Texas and Louisiana, and gospel, and created my style, and it just comes out like, it's Katie Webster, it's not Albert Ammons or Pete Johnson or Meet Lux Lewis. It's just a mixture like a gumbo, it's a mixture of Southwest Louisiana, and a mixture of Zydeco. It's a mixture of country, blues, folk, and I just add it all together and get that sound. Lord, I wonder how much longer will I have to sing the blues? Yes, I wonder how much longer will I have to sing the blues? Now my mother went on before me, sang the gospel all her life. Then my father went on right after her. He preached the gospel till he died. So I wonder how much longer will I have to sing the blues? Yes, I wonder how much longer will I have to sing the blues? Listen, Muddy Waters, Jimmy Reed, Lightning Hopkins had to sing the blues. T-Bone Walker, Guitar Slim, Howlin' Worship got to sing the blues. B.B. King, Albert Collins got to sing the blues. Lonnie Brooks, all my friends, Little Ed's got to sing the blues. People that are not complaining, cause the blues has been good to me. And I know after singing over 35 years, I sing the blues and play some boogie woogie too. Oh yeah. Sang the blues. Koko Taylor, Etta James, Katie Webster's got to sing the blues. People that are not complaining, cause our music has been good to me. If I can sing all those blues and play that boogie woogie, I can sing some gospel too. I think that the blues is supposed to be played from the heart, and from it's your heritage, and it's the first music, blues and gospel. Oh yeah, we gonna lay down all of those nuclear bomb, child. Ain't gonna study war no more. much longer will I have to sing the blues? Yes, I wonder how much longer will I have to sing the blues? Yeah, 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 yeah. I've got to know, don't it make ya? I wanna know, don't it make ya? Well, 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 well. I wanna know, don't it make ya feel alright? Yeah. Hallelujah. Thank you. God bless you.
The Swamp Boogie Queen herself, the one, the only Miss Katie Webster. The aerobic Swamp Boogie Queen.
This is Nora Canali, who's vice president in charge of artist relations and runs the artist management department and helps the artists get up and down the highway and make a living. And and these are what the artists give us in return, these souvenir alligators. They come from the fans and they come from musicians around the world. This one was from Australia, I think. It's your plastic alligator with small arms attached.
This one was from a club down in Tampa. Actually, it's a real alligator with real sharp teeth. Bruce, would you like to try?
No, thank you. I think. And this is your basic alligator pot holder, with a diver inside.
And this one was from Little Ed and the Blues Imperials when they were down at Jimmy Buffett's club down in Key West, Florida.
And this is a carved one from New Guinea that a fan sent me. And the one down here that I'm not sure I can pick up without making it stop is from somebody who sent me an audition tape just the other day and convinced me to listen to it because of this alligator, which is sound activated. Oh, here we go, the hat. You?
No,
me?
you.
Oh, okay, me. The alligator hat. Official, tongue inside, good teeth. Your average day-to-day apparel. Elvin Bishop and I have a lot in common because we both came to Chicago as blues pilgrims. We came from other cities because we had fallen in love with his music. The difference is, of course, he has musical talent and I don't. Now, you came to Chicago, I know, to go to college and dropped out and went to the blues instead.
My family didn't have any money, and I was lucky enough to get a scholarship, and I could go to any school I wanted to, so I chose Chicago because I knew that's where blues was. It was in the back of my mind from the get-go.
Elvin has always had an ability to blend blues with his own country roots and with rock and roll. And he's been criticized a lot for the humor he puts in his music, but I think humor is an intrinsic part of the blues.
I've always tried to play as much blues as I thought I could get away with, And sometimes, like in the 70s and 80s, that was pitifully little. Maybe one slow blues a night, people would stand still for you, at least on the rock gigs I was playing. And now it feels real good to be able to do as much as I want to.
The story is true, ladies and gentlemen. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. The city, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The place, the Chestnut Cabaret. The year, I believe it was about 1992. The story goes something like this. I walked into a beer tavern just to show a young lady a nice time. When I walked in there, I had $50 in my pocket. When I walked out, I had one dime. Wasn't that a beer drinking woman? Don't you know, man, don't you know? She was a beer drinking woman, and I don't want to see her no more. When she got done drinking up all my money, boy, she said, Elvin, I know you're not through. I said, yes, I am too, woman, and I believe the trophy belongs to you. Beer drinking woman, don't you know, man, don't you know? She was a beer drinking woman, boys, and I don't want to see her no more. Cause I can't afford to see that woman. Slow down, bartender. I ain't got no credit card. But every once in a while, boy, she would say, excuse me while I walk around here. But every time she come back, man, looked like she had room for another bottle of beer. Beer drinking woman, don't you know, man, don't you know? She was a beer drinking woman, and I don't want to see her no more. Kept asking for light beers, there was less filling. Big old girl weighed about 450 pounds. We don't mean any harm. We don't mean any harm. We just don't have any better sense. Thank you.
Lonnie Brooks is generally considered to be a blues man, but in fact he began playing rock and roll in Louisiana. He's almost a contemporary of Chuck Berry. And you can hear that rock and roll spirit whenever he plays blues. Lonnie's a joy to work with, and one of the reasons he is because he's been bringing up his son Ronnie in his footsteps, and I'm looking forward to Ronnie becoming a major blues artist in the future. What's it like for you two to work as a father and son team on a band?
It's just like I haven't left home yet. You know, I mean, I have my son with me, and it makes me proud to have him with me on the road, and it makes me feel that I haven't left home. You know, and that like before he started working with me, I would be lonesome sometime, for my family. And so I got part of my family on the road with me now. I feel much better.
And how about a warm Philadelphia welcome for my daddy, y'all? Mr. Lonnie Brooks. Lonnie Brooks.
mess up my life. I want all that money back.
Difference between the way the two of you play guitar?
The difference
between your styles?
I would say Ronnie have more of a rock edge than I do, and he's much faster, and he play more notes, and he know more about the guitar than I do.
He has more experience though, and that takes you further than what I do.
I like hiring people right out of school or people who haven't been much in the record business before because they aren't jaded by being at major labels, by 3 martini lunches, by the idea of making millions of dollars or doing something fancy. They're music driven and they're idealistic. And when people lose their idealism, generally speaking, they lose their value to Alligator.
When can we discuss my raise? What are you laughing at? I'm serious!
When you get big media breaks like this and become a household name, you should be doing it for free.
One of the reasons I love Koko Taylor so much is she's a blues person through and through. She came up in the blues world. She came up the hard way. The blues is inside her, and whenever she opens her mouth, it comes out. It is the rawest, deepest, hardest blues you can imagine.
When it comes to the older blacks, they all know about the blues, same as I do, because 90% of the black people, a lot of them came to Chicago, New York, these big cities from Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and places like that. And that's all they know. That's all they ever knew about, you know. So it's not like they don't know about it, but, you know, it's just like anything else. If you know, used to eating steaks all of your life, you know, or used to eating, say you used to eat neck bones all your life, and then all of a sudden you got a chance to eat pork chops and chicken, well, you know, you ain't want to go back to them neck bones. You don't want to hear about that. So I think it's the same way with the blues when it comes to the older blacks. I mean, you know, we ate it, we slept it, and we was born with the blues, and some of us, you know, look like we gonna die with the blues.
This tune is called Go Blind. Yeah. Something told me it was over when I saw you, her talking something deep in my soul say cry. When I saw you, her walking in. So you see, I'd rather go blind than to see you walk away from me. So you see, I love you so much. And most of all, I just don't wanna lose you. Can you feel it? Yeah. I was just sitting here thinking about you, baby, about your kiss and your sweet embrace.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
When blues works right, there isn't a line between the artist and the audience. The blues man, the blues woman becomes the spokesman for the audience. And people in the audience say, hey, that man or that woman is singing and playing what I feel. And it becomes like a community of musician and audience. It's not a presentation. It's not show business. It's a sharing. When it works well, it's almost like being in church.
I grew up singing gospel. I grew up in church. And my dad said everybody in his house had to go to church on Sunday. And every Sunday I'd go to church, me and my sisters and brothers. And on Monday we'd go to the field to pick cotton and we'd be singing the blues amongst ourselves, you know. But I always sung gospel, loved gospel. And even today when I'm on the bandstand singing the blues, I have that gospel feeling deep down within, you know. And sometimes I get kind of happy, you know. You don't know about it, but when I be jumping around there on stage, I have that gospel feeling down inside, and I have to catch myself and remember you ain't in church now. Don't get happy on me. So I just keep on singing the blues.
We're gonna jam just a little taste. If y'all get tired of us, just give us the signal and we'll stop. Back to that same old place.
applause for the Swamp Boogie Queen herself, Miss Katie Webster. Katie Webster. And how about it for my main man over here? Little Ed and the Blues Imperials. Little Ed. Why don't y'all keep your hands together for the Blues Machine, the Lonnie Brooks Band, and all those guys that appeared up here, huh? And how about it? Oh. How about it? A big, big round of applause for Alligator Records for keeping the blues alive, huh? How about it? Alligator Records, huh? Bruce Singer, where are you? Bruce? How about it, sir? Bruce Singer? Yeah.
Blues has this sort of strange power as a music that's real different from any other kind of music I've heard. It kind of reaches in and it wrings you out. It's like a wet sponge getting squeezed dry. It's not real comfortable when it happens, but afterwards you feel great. When you listen to blues when you're like in a crowd of people and it works, you realize that the things you're feeling are not just what you feel, that other people around you, the musician, you and the rest of the audience are feeling the same things, and you feel not alone. Always when I was younger in my life, I felt real isolated, like I never really was in touch with people, like I was walking through the world with nobody quite touching me. And somehow or other, the blues made me feel kind of whole and like much more a part of being a human being.
How about it for all these artists and all of you for coming out tonight, huh? We'd love to thank you and hope you had a good time. See ya! And we thank you for loving the blues. How about giving me a sound for that little applause? Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye now.